Have you ever noticed someone who always seems to have everything under control? They never ask for help, never admit they're struggling, and somehow manage to carry the weight of the world on their shoulders, alone. Maybe that person is you. Welcome back to UNFELT, where the feelings you ignore finally have a voice. Today, we're diving into the fascinating psychology behind people who refuse to ask for help. And what we'll discover might completely change how you see yourself or someone you care about. Because, according to psychology, the inability to ask for help isn't about strength. It's about something much deeper. Let's explore what's really going on beneath the surface. Number 1, deep-rooted fear of being a burden. People who never ask for help often carry a core belief that their needs don't matter as much as everyone else's. They've internalized the message that asking for support makes them a burden, someone who takes more than they give. This belief usually forms in childhood. Maybe they grew up in a home where resources were limited, where parents were overwhelmed, or where expressing needs led to frustration or rejection. So they learned early on that the safest way to exist is to need nothing from anyone. Psychologist John Bowlby's attachment theory explains this perfectly. When children don't receive consistent support during times of need, they develop what's called an avoidant attachment style. As adults, they unconsciously believe that reaching out for help will lead to disappointment or rejection. So instead, they shut down the need entirely. They tell themselves they're fine, they don't need anyone. And slowly, asking for help becomes not just difficult, but almost impossible. Number 2, perfectionism disguised as independence. On the surface, never asking for help looks like confidence, like independence, like having it all together. But dig deeper, and you'll often find perfectionism hiding underneath. These individuals set impossibly high standards for themselves. And in their mind, asking for help equals failure. It means admitting they can't do something on their own, which directly contradicts their self-image as someone who's competent, capable, and in control. Research from Dr. Brené Brown reveals that perfectionism isn't about self-improvement, it's about protection. It's a shield we use to avoid shame, judgment, and blame. When you've built your entire identity around being the strong one, the reliable one, the one who never breaks, asking for help feels like dismantling that identity piece by piece. So they push harder, they work longer, they suffer in silence. Because to them, struggling alone feels safer than the vulnerability of reaching out. Number 3, trauma response and hypervigilance. For many people, the refusal to ask for help isn't a choice. It's a survival mechanism. If you grew up in an environment where asking for help led to humiliation, anger, or being told you were weak, your nervous system learned that vulnerability equals danger. This creates what trauma therapists call hypervigilance. Your brain is constantly scanning for threats, and one of those threats is appearing vulnerable or dependent on others. Dr. Gabor Mate, a leading expert on trauma, explains that when children's emotional needs are consistently unmet or punished, they adapt by becoming hyper-independent. They learn to rely only on themselves because relying on others has proven unsafe. As adults, even when they're surrounded by loving, supportive people, their nervous system still sends the same danger signals. Asking for help triggers an internal alarm that says, "This isn't safe, protect yourself, stay closed off," so they don't ask. Not because they don't need help, but because their body won't let them. Number 4, fear of losing control. Control is a powerful psychological defense mechanism. When life feels unpredictable or overwhelming, maintaining control over what you can becomes essential for emotional survival. For people who never ask for help, accepting support means letting go of that control. It means trusting someone else to show up, to follow through, to not let you down. And if you've been let down before, that trust feels impossible. Psychologists call this an internal locus of control taken to the extreme. These individuals believe that if they're not in complete control of a situation, something will go wrong. So they micromanage. They take on everything themselves. They refuse delegation, refuse assistance, because deep down, they believe no one else can do it right. Or more accurately, they're terrified of what might happen if they let go. But here's the painful irony. The more tightly you grip control, the more exhausted, isolated, and overwhelmed you become. The very thing you're trying to prevent, losing control, happens anyway, just from a different direction. Number 5, low self-worth and imposter syndrome. This one runs deep. Many people who refuse to ask for help don't actually believe they deserve it. They look around and see others as more worthy, more deserving, more legitimately in need of support. Meanwhile, they minimize their own struggles. They tell themselves other people have it worse. I should be able to handle this. I'm being dramatic. This is classic imposter syndrome combined with low self-worth. You don't feel legitimate in your own suffering. You don't feel worthy of taking up space, time, or emotional energy from others. Research from Dr. Kristen Neff on self-compassion shows that people who struggle to ask for help often have extremely high compassion for others, but almost none for themselves. They'll be the first person to help a friend in need. But when they're drowning, they convince themselves they should be able to swim. This disconnect is heartbreaking because everyone, without exception, deserves support. But people with low self-worth can't internalize that truth when it comes to themselves. Number 6, cultural and societal conditioning. Let's be honest. Society glorifies the self-made person, the individual who pulls themselves up by their bootstraps, the lone wolf who needs no one. From movies to motivational quotes, we're constantly fed the message that independence equals strength and needing help equals weakness. Men, in particular, are socialized from a young age to suppress vulnerability. Boys are told to toughen up, to man up, to stop crying. As adults, asking for help becomes an act of defiance against everything they've been taught about masculinity. But women aren't immune either. Many are conditioned to be caregivers, nurturers, the ones who hold everyone else together. Asking for help feels like failing at the role they've been assigned. Cultural psychologist Dr. Hazel Marcus explains that these deeply ingrained cultural scripts shape not just behavior, but identity. When your entire sense of self is built on being the helper, not the helped, asking for support feels like betraying who you are. And finally, number 7, the belief that asking for help makes you weak. This is the core belief tying all the others together. Somewhere along the way, you learned that vulnerability is weakness, that needing someone makes you less than, that strong people don't ask for help, they figure it out on their own. But here's what psychology actually tells us. The opposite is true. Dr. Brené Brown's decades of research on vulnerability reveals that asking for help is one of the bravest things a human being can do. It requires courage, self-awareness, and the willingness to be seen in your humanity. Strong people aren't the ones who never fall. They're the ones who fall and have the courage to reach out a hand. The inability to ask for help doesn't protect you. It isolates you. It creates a prison of self-reliance that eventually becomes unbearable. So if you recognize yourself in any of these 7 patterns, I want you to know something important. You're not broken, you're not too much, and you're not weak. You're simply carrying wounds that taught you it wasn't safe to need anyone. And those wounds make perfect sense, given what you've experienced. But here's the truth. You deserve help. You deserve support. You deserve to be held when you're falling apart. And asking for that doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. Thanks for watching UNFELT, where the feelings you ignore finally have a voice. If this resonated with you, drop a comment and let me know which of these 7 patterns you related to most. And if you're someone who struggles to ask for help, I want you to try something small this week. Reach out to one person. Ask for one small thing, not because you have to, but because you deserve to practice Bay.